somebody was asking here just a few minutes ago about the real world. What is that? And I would like to focus a little bit on that for a few minutes. And it's not our normal world. So the Course tells us that the world that we generally live in is crazy. It's insane. It's getting more so minute by minute, it seems. And an awful lot of people can buy into that. I had the privilege of, my wife and I had the privilege of having some guests from another state stop in just for a little while. And I didn't know them very well, but one of them, I was told later, had Asperger's something. There's a condition. It's not...
Asperger's?
Yes, Asperger's. I don't know much about it. Asperger's.
It's like a behavioral thing, or like a disorder. People have a hard time with social and with other people.
It's a form of autism.
Okay.
Yes, it's on the spectrum.
Autism would be more serious.
Yeah.
Asperger's.
Yeah, it's on the spectrum of autism.
Autism 101 or something.
Yeah.
It's in that direction, but not.
Asperger's.
Asperger. Well, I didn't know she had any condition. It just seemed like a normal person. I mean, what's normal? But at any rate, just it seemed like another person, and we got and pulled into various kinds of activities, one sort or the other, and I had occasion to speak to her a little bit more, and I just asked her, okay, what kind of work do you do? She said, well, she was a nurse, and she had gotten. The beginning was she hadn't slept for 42 hours, and I said, you need to go to bed. That's just too long. And that's when I asked her what kind of work she does, and as a nurse, I'm sure that sometimes she has to stay up a long while, but. And then she told me she put herself through nursing school by working 2 jobs and not getting much sleep. So she was kind of used to it. And I just congratulated her on that. That's an accomplishment, seems to me. And she's an LN, but not an RN, licensed nurse, but not a, yeah, okay. And she may go back and try to do the other more serious thing. I don't know. Well, anyway, we were talking just a little bit more, and she said, I don't know how it started, but things were getting a little out of control there in our environment, and because we had a loose animal that was running around, and we're trying to catch him, and that's chaotic. And she said, I'll just be glad when this is over. We just ought to get rid of this animal a little bit, but not very seriously, but, just injecting some thoughts of that sort. It was a new animal they just picked up, and it was kind of misbehaving in a way. It was just scared. And she says, it's just crazy, And I said, well, the world's insane. She said, and she says, oh, is it? It really is. I said, yes, it is just insane. So I immediately felt a connection with this person. If you don't think the world's insane, you and I just can't have a conversation. I mean, it'd be very, very peripheral, not a conversation of any depth at any rate. Hi, how are you? Have a good day. But if you see that there's an insanity here, then you and I are on the same, we got the foot on the same step here. I don't know how many more we can go, but we'll go as best we can, as far as we can. And I went to bed, and I didn't get to sleep, and I had to get up again. And everybody else was still up, fooling with this animal they were trying to catch, whatever. And I just said to her, I said, you and I think kind of alike. Now, I was just talking about the first step. I don't know this person at all, but that's okay. That was the first step. And I said, when you get on, why don't you look up my website? That's miraclepublishers.com. You might find something. I had no idea what her spiritual interests were, if any, probably none. But well, you never know. You just don't know. But I didn't care. They make a difference. I'm just going to tell you that there's a website here. You might find it interesting. It's going to agree with you that the world is insane. That's so you've got one step in the right direction. And that's when, and it was only then that my wife said, well, she has this condition, Asper, whatever. And I said, well, maybe it's a useful condition. But I'm just seeing the insanity, you know. And now we're not, and we can go on and on about how insane the world is. I mean, there's no way you could just talk for hours and on and on and on and on. But as you talk, you notice the world doesn't get any more sane. And so you, just because you're talking about its insanity or lack of sanity, so you start to wonder, well, why am I even bothering? So the relationship that we have with the world is to make it less important to us, not more important to us. The big temptation is to make it more important. Hurricanes are coming. Diseases are diseases over the place. We're supposed to get or regular flu to throw in with a COVID. Oh boy, that's fun. And people sometimes just get, you know, I don't know, something else, a heart attack or a stroke, whatever. None of that means anything. It means nothing, except to the people that give belief to it. So I'm not belittling their experience of it. You don't go up to a person that's on their dying bed and say, yeah, and whatever you're experiencing, it means nothing. It means something to them. They have people they want to speak to before they leave. We all probably are aware of that when you're going towards physical death, you start thinking, okay, who am I still out of sorts with? Who do I want to make peace with? Hope I get to see Uncle Joe before I go, whatever. And all that's important to that person. And so you don't want to belittle it. But the overall situation is it will be important to them until they wake up, and then they will laugh about it. So I can't jump ahead to where we're laughing about it and laugh at you. I mean, that's really an attack, you know, if you were to make fun of somebody. So I wouldn't want to do that. But I'm just trying to get a longer view of it, and the longer view is that it won't mean anything. Now, the intermediate state through which we will pass before returning to be with God is called the real world. It is not this world. And what the Course is doing, it says, I just want to give you some idea of what's going to happen to you before you go to heaven, let's say it that way, a real simple way. And we're going to give, and what you will start experiencing this world differently, and we're going to call it the real world. Well, I won't read it. I know what it says, and I remember enough of it. But what it says is this experience of the real world will be very short. You'll barely have time to thank God for it. So that puts it in a certain perspective for us. This is not 10 more years of long struggle to get us from point A to point B. What this is, it says you're through with this. And so what hits us right now is, how do I get my mind to the place where it will be all right with it to be told you're through? Because if you say, no, I'm not, I've got to go do this, well, you're not through. There's nothing wrong with not being through. It's just what is, you know. You are, you're not, or you're not. So that's what you and I have to think about. What is in the way of my leaving this place? As long as there's something in the way, you're not going to leave. The Course says, in a really nice idea, which is not appreciated in the world at all, that this world is not left by death, it's left by truth. Now that means, to me, it means if your body dies, well, the Course will say it wasn't alive in the first place. You haven't died. And if you need to do this again, you'll just come back and do it again some way, somehow, somewhere. Doesn't matter. If you need a physical experience, another physical experience, you get another physical. You get as many of these as you want. I don't know whether you get to pick where. But anyway, you'll find out. But there comes a time when you don't need them anymore or don't want them. The real issue here is when I talk about getting to a place where you're ready to go on, you have to ask yourself, what do I really want here from this world? What else? You know, what's my bucket list, as we say when we watch movies, because there's one about that. What is, and I tell people, I don't have a bucket list. The bucket's gone. I can't find it. If I could find it, there's nothing I'd put in it. So the question is, and this is a serious question, and it doesn't have a wrong answer, by the way. What do you still want to get out of this world? And my suggestion to you is go for it. Get it out of your system. It may bring you some satisfaction. It may not. I don't know. But you will know. It's not on your bucket list anymore. You don't want to have a bucket list. If you have a bucket list, you're coming back. It seems to me. Is there something else that was just trivial and you did, oh, I just want to have one more hamburger. Okay, here, eat the thing. That's kind of trivial, you know. But at any rate, what do you want from this place? And you might say, well, for a hamburger, you just dismiss it. Oh, I changed my mind. Don't need it. But there's some things buried within you, little wheels turning, that are serious, and you can't just let go of casually. You may think you have a mission here, you see, and their little mission wheels are turning. Is the mission possible? Not a mission impossible. I'm talking about a mission that you can do. It may just be, I really need to have a garden and grow flowers for a while. We'll find. Let's do that. It may be, who knows what it is. I'm just saying that you may have a serious, in your opinion, serious mission that you need to do here. And if you do, then you still have stuff here. So you can't lightly throw that out. So if your mission is to go help people who have lost their homes due to a hurricane, and to set up a foundation for that, and well, you need to be proceeding with that, and you're not going to just let that go. I have the feeling that before we even come here into physical form, we write down, metaphorically speaking, what our mission is. I want to accomplish this next lifetime. That could be have a family. Be something simple and almost universal as that. I just want to have a family. I don't know. I don't know what your mission is. I want to get to the place where I can treat animals kindly. Who knows? I want to go to the state house and be a lawmaker. You know, like your husband is, more or less. I don't know what he does exactly, but you don't either.
He doesn't.
He doesn't either. Well, as long as he keeps getting paid for not knowing what he's supposed to do, everything's okay. So the kind of detail, like a lawmaker is a good example, because that's a detailed thing, and he does certain detailed things. He does something, but not other things. That's probably part of his mission plan. See, I don't think it was an accident that we end up doing what we were doing. We wanted just to drive a truck or a John Deere tractor. I don't know. But become aware of it as you can and get it done. That's what I'm saying. Not because I think it's a great and wonderful thing. Who knows what it is? Maybe digging a hole in your backyard and planting tomato plant there, which is fine. Or maybe something that the world would regard as important, but the world doesn't really matter. It's just about getting it off your bucket list, as far as I'm concerned. Because I do have a bucket list. That just occurred to me. There's one item in my bucket list. I have certain ideas, and then I write them down, and if they're come together well enough, I want to write a book about them, and so I do that. So here's the book, see, okay, and then I get it printed somewhere or other, and think, well, maybe this will be helpful to somebody or other. It's not. That's okay. I've done my part, though. My bucket list doesn't include their reading the book. That's not my bucket list. That's their problem, whether they want to or do not. But my bucket list would be to get it done. I cannot just lightly give that up. I just choose not to do that, and there's nobody under heaven really is going to convince me otherwise. I don't think. If it were Jesus himself, I would certainly pay close attention. But I mean, short of that, just don't even bother. So you may have something that to you is very serious. It may. I am reminded of my mother's family. In saying this, they lived in Indiana. They were farmers, big family, and one of my mother's sisters had infantile paralysis. I don't know whether that ever occurs. It used to be it used to occur fairly often. Polio would be very similar, or maybe the same thing. I'm not sure. But all her life, she could not walk, and her brain did not develop. I mean, her legs were not good. She would have to get by on crutches, or somebody helping her. She had great big arms. This woman, because she used her arms all the time to get from here to there, not her legs. And she was mean-spirited. And my grandfather tells us, "Dog, get near Elma. She'll hit you. She'll whop you." Fine. And she would sit in a rocking chair, just rocking all the time. And she liked to hear a song called "Ida Red." Well, whatever. My main thing is I just walked around the rocking chair. That's all. 1 year didn't get. What's interesting about this is that my grandmother and grandfather took care of this woman from the day she was born to the day she died, and she lived a long time. And the grandmother passed away first. So my grandfather, this is a big one. I mean, she gets kind of big just sitting in a chair and eating all the time. You kind of get big and heavy. I don't know how he got her from here to there when he was 70 or something, but he did. And that may have been a part of his mission. Instead of just saying, "To the nursing home you go," I can't do this. He just stayed and did that. The nursing home people might have done a better job of it for all I know, but that was probably a part of his mission. And I didn't know him well, so I don't know whether this is really true, but I just am speculating that maybe it was. What's your mission? That's a really good question to ask yourself. If you have, well, I don't have one. Well, hey, you're ready. You're ready. So just enjoy your last time here, whether it be a day, a week, or a year. It doesn't make any difference, because when you leave, you're not coming back. When you talk about the real world, it's not something you go through and you stop halfway through and say, "I think I want to go back there." No, this is sufficiently potent that there's no way under heck that you're going to turn around and want to do this again. And the course just simply says, when you hit the real world, you're through here. You're not coming back. And so the way you will know this is you will awaken, and then the real world will spring into your sight. So you must first awaken while you're still walking around the floor here. Okay, yeah, Matt.
So when we reach the real world, there will be no reason or need for reincarnation.
No, it's over, done with.
Thank you.
And what he said, well, what would that be like? It will say, well, you will still see physical objects for just a while, but dimly, because you and our other people's bodies, but dimly, because you will be focusing more on the light that you see within them that's shining now brightly. It's probably there now, but we don't see it, you see. And the light can be sufficiently powerful that when you see it, you'll say, "I don't want to ever see anything else but this." See a chair, to heck with that. I want this light. It's like it will not be the light that we have. This is reflected light. All the lights, well, except for that screen. Well, except for the lights. Most of what we see is due to reflected light. But the light that is there, well, there will be no reflection. A reflection bounces off forms. See, that's how light gets reflected off something and bounces back to you, and you can see it, but bringing the image of that form. No, it's not that. You will see direct light. on the screen of your vision, mental vision. It's shining. It is light within it, and it is shining, radiant, and this will be sufficiently potent, and that you will pretty soon not even see a chair. Pretty soon you'll just be able to walk through it, because it's your whole being is shifting from earth-based locomotion and experience and etc. to non-earth. You don't need that anymore. And like I say, there will be no going back. And there may be sounds, that are part of this as well. But you are, and you will be mentally, telepathically connected with all the others there as well. And I'm sure this happens a little step at a time, but that kind of sharing will be going on. And the Course says this will not last for a long time. But we do need a transition period. The world is so frightening. I mean, we push it down, so we don't go on every day saying, "Ooh, I'm so scared." That's not the way to function in the world, but it's still there. You still know that anything you see can hurt you. If somebody, any car you see can hurt you. All it's going to do is drive at you at sufficient speed and he happen to hit you, and you're in the hospital. The roof can collapse. There's nothing that can't hurt you if it's solid. It can be dropped on your head under the right conditions. Whatever. We know this. There's nothing that you see that can't be a part of injury in some kind of situation you could conceive of. Every day we get into 1,000 pounds of metal. I don't know how much a car weighs, but and drive it at 30 to 50 or 60 miles per hour, hurtling rapidly through space here. And we all know that can really hurt if you happen to hit another one of those vehicles or just run into a telephone pole. You set yourself up into a condition where harm is easily conceivable. And I think that we're all great drivers because we're all still here. It's amazing how many cars are on the road and why they're not just hitting all the time like the bumper cars in the carnival. Well, of course, we all try pretty hard to stay within those lanes, but and we do pretty good at it. But still, a lot of people die from car accidents, nevertheless. But you don't bring fears up to your conscious mind if you can help it. They're really, liable to become very anxious and not be able to function well. You keep them in place somewhere or other. But they're still there. And the change to suddenly be in a world where they're all gone, you think, well, that's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing, but we usually like change one step at a time. Don't yank me from here to there. I don't care how good it is there. Let me walk at a comfortable pace. I'm not interested in being jerked from here to one wonderful situation. Even though it's wonderful, it doesn't make a difference. I have to learn to cope with that. I'm not used to coping with wonderful. I'm used to coping with insanity. So I'm used to making insanity tolerable, you see, in some way or other. And so I may need a few steps to get my breath here and see what this is like. But it won't be a problem because you're ready. If you're not ready, you're not going to be there. And so the question is about getting yourself to the place where you're ready. I'm not quite ready simply because I want to finish doing this, but it's not far away. New ideas will not come to my mind forever. They don't come from me anyhow. But soon that will end. I keep hoping will be real soon. But then I get another idea. Oh, I got to write that. I got to do something with that. And so I do something with it as quickly as I can. And I recognize that it's a part of my mission. Because if I don't do something on it every day, I have trouble going to sleep. My mind says, hey, you didn't do anything on that. You're missing your mission out here. Get up. It's time to sleep. No, you got to get up and go do that. So I'll get up and go do that for an hour or two, and then come back and go to sleep maybe. It's a mission. You may have something like that too. You don't have to be driven hard by it like that. That's just my personality. But it doesn't matter about that. But if you do have a mission, it is something for you to be aware of, because you can't just throw it aside. There are things we can throw aside. If you have a new home or a new car and someone said, well, you're going to have to lose that to go there, most of us can say, well, that's all right. I can, when we understand we will not need a car and we not need a home, then you don't care whether the old ones are gone or not. They're all, you see. But your mission is something that to you at least has more importance. And so you need to find it. Now, does the course speak of this? I don't think it uses the word mission, but it uses the word special function. It says you have a special function that only you can fulfill. So that would be mission, okay? It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be anything. It's really up to you, you know. Well, it also depends on your particular abilities. You know, like I know that my mission is not to sing in the opera. No, no, no. No way. Sing anywhere, actually. Forget the opera. So what is yours? Are you ready? Are you almost ready? Only you can answer that. And there's no wrong answer. If you want to say, I'm not even near ready, I'm going to take 1,000 more years and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. It's your decision. Your decision. God's not going to make it for you. He's not going to say, time's up. Come on. You know, there's a quote from the course that most of us really, really appreciate. And I remember the first time I was reading the course, I came across it. I was struck by it. And the Course in Miracles is written in such a way that it represents Jesus as being the person saying the words to Helen, and she wrote them down. And what this word, so this is as if Jesus is saying it. I mean, that's the way it's represented. And it says, I will teach you to be like me if you're interested. If you're not, I will wait till you are. Because I can teach you, because actually we are alike. Now, when I first read that, I thought it was going to say, I will teach you to be like me if you want. If you're not, hey, you're going to hell. That's what I expected, just out of the conditioning of our world, you know. I mean, infinite patience is not part of our world. Many places we don't have any patience. I mean, you know, the order is to do it. You got 2 minutes to get it done, whatever. So I was struck by that. God, Jesus, God, the angels above, they're not restricted by time. It's not a problem with them whether you take 2 more seconds or 2 billion more years. It's just not a problem with them. But it's a problem for us. You may get tired of struggling through a world of insanity. You know, if you're not, well, live a few more years, you probably will get there. But if you don't, it's okay. You'll come back and have another kind of life. You can do it. It's up to you. No forcing, no coercion here. You are in charge of this. And the course wants you to start taking that seriously and say that you're even responsible for the kind of day you can have. See, that's a step in that direction. And so just when you just think about it, when you first get up, I'm responsible for the kind of day I'm going to have today, and I choose to have one without fear or concern. Even if they're dropping like flies on every side of the road, I don't care. I'm choosing not to have fear. If I can be helpful, I'll be helpful. But I'm not going to have fear. And the Course also says that disasters are not real. And reality also is not disastrous. It says it is the greatest love you can have for your brother to recognize this and be glad, because he thinks disasters are real and he can learn from you. The Course tells us over and over again that we're here to be the light of the world in our own particular way. And so we teach others that disasters are not real. There is no disaster in this world. Neither the fires, neither the waters, neither the diseases, nor anything else. They are simply giving you an opportunity to say, I'm not going to empower the world more. I'm going to empower truth instead, the world is left by truth. The world is not left by your hanging on to the world. If you want to hang on to the world, you get to do so. But if you don't start now letting go of the world, what makes you think you're going to let go of it totally next week? See, you got to start now. You must get ready if you're interested, of course. If you're not, then Jesus says, I will wait till you are. No hurry. Take your time. But don't complain about not being ready when you're not trying to get ready. That's a kind of pointless thing to do. Nobody's stopping you but yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you all for being here today and participating. We had a good meeting. We'd like to close with a closing thought. The light has come. I am and we are the light of the world. I invite you to stand with me and say that together, please. Together, the light has come. I am and we are the light of the world. We have a great Sunday, great week, and we hope to see